Hi listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to Upptalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say Upptalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it. Let's investigate SAP, a well-known enterprise resource planning system, and discover its many functionalities and business applications.
We are going to cover package privileges and also application privileges today. So I'll show you. First of all, let me tell you what an application privilege is before we jump in. Before all that, I want you to also see the web cockpit that we have for HANA DB. So this is the HANA cockpit that we can access. Actually, if you want to give limited access, now let us say in HANA Studio you are able to see. So basically, what is happening here? So let us say if I'm a security admin, I shouldn't be able to see all this provisioning content or catalog or this backup folder. It's not needed for me to see. So what I can do? I can restrict access with the help of a web IDE or web cockpit, which is provided by HANA. This comes as part of HANA and you can access this. So what the basis admin will do? The basis admin will configure this HANA cockpit. How can you see the details of this? Simply click on your system, go to Properties and go to Access Properties. So what is Access here? Access is an engine. Let me show you. I have an example for you. So what basically happens is that, see, this is your HANA database. In HANA database, by default, you'll have an engine called Access Engine, which supports applications like any. Like the developers can create n number of applications on top of Access Engine, which is provided in HANA DB. It acts like an application layer where you can deploy all your applications. You can create all your applications and deploy in this engine. This is called Access Engine. So on top of this, you'll have these applications. And we can discuss more about this in the application privileges. But let's see how the HANA cockpit looks like. So this is the HANA cockpit standard address. So it is a http:// host port followed by SAP HANA admin and cockpit. You can have this access. So if you want to access only security, then this is your link basically. So how do you find this host or port number? So that's where I opened this actually. In the access properties, you'll be able to see it. In the access properties, you are able to see both the host, so both the host and the port number here. So that's how I found, and I replaced this standard thing with the host and this details, and I'm able to use the login into the HANA cockpit. So I've created, so we already have the system, user ID here. I'm going to use the same. Now I'm able to log in, so I'll be only able to see the security tab here. Because IDE web cockpit, IDE role is only assigned for security here. On my access on my folder view is only limited to security. But whereas when it comes to HANA Studio, you cannot restrict it. So, by default, what it'll let you see? It'll let you see all the folders with them because you're getting a public role granted at the time of default user ID creation in HANA Studio. So now what you can do, instead of giving you can increase the users to use this thing. this HANA IDE or HANA cockpit. So that is the use of HANA cockpit basically. Suppose there is a modeler. I'll show you what role I have assigned in order to get this access to the system. User ID. So there are these roles called IDE roles which are meant for HANA cockpit. So I have assigned this IDE role. If you can see IDE role security admin I have assigned. So because of this, I'm able to see only the security tab here. And when it comes to HANA cockpit, I'm only able to see the security folder instead of getting everything. But suppose if you want to see what all IDE roles that you have in the system, you can always do that. Just select. Now I'm going into the role section. I'm selecting the standard roles that are provided by SAP. You can customize this as well, which we'll see in the later topics. Let me show you what roles we have here. Simply type HANA cockpit roles. So all these roles are IDE roles or HANA cockpit roles, basically. You can assign trace. We have security tester, security admin, editor, developer, catalog developer, consumer and base roles. These all roles can be assigned. So these core roles, like this base role, can be assigned to any user because it will give the default access that is needed. Or else you can directly jump in and you can build this developer. Let us give developer access now and see what happens, what updates we are going to get in the HANA cockpit. Let me send this role. I'm able to save this. I got the message. User system change. So user changes are successful to turn to the system. Let's do a simple refresh and you will be able to see security along with the developer tab as well. Let me log off on login. It is taking time, but usually you should be able to have this development here. But this is only meant for the security team only, mostly because all the developers should have access to the cockpit itself. Sorry, not the cockpit to the studio itself, because they'll be creating many data views here under the content or the catalog folders, because this catalog and content folders are meant for them. So they'll be able to do everything. But let us add some more roles and see what happens. Let me give this catalog developer and see what happens. Because usually we give this access to only the security admin so that he'll not be able to see anything else in the real time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I'm not going into the cockpit directly. We are in the security URL directly. So for that reason, we are not able to see this. Let me go into the cockpit itself. So this that we have. So I've mentioned the cockpit URL also here. So Support followed by SAP HANA Admin and Cockpit. Let us do them. This has to be as it is, not as CTP. There is a small correction here. It is not allowing to give a STP. It is a ST. So that is where it will give you the option saying that it is not secure. But you can always allow this since it is a training server. It doesn't, there is no issue. Let us do some changes here. So now it is asking you the username and password. What username and password will I give? I'll give the same credentials to the system because I have assigned the privileges to this system, user ID only. So I am giving it. If you are assigning it to some test ID, you can also give them that access to that and you can test it out. No worries. Follow. What happened, Sophia? The cockpit is not used. This is already replaced by my VM. So now the cockpit is not used anymore. Only that security URL can be used. Guys, this is the newer version, I think. The newer version is not there. I thought it is this older version, but in older version we used to have this admin cockpit. But nowadays we don't have any admin cockpit anymore. We only have the HANA ID security cockpit only. So whatever access that you want to give in HANA cockpit, you can only give to the security team or to any other teams. But I'll look into it. If there is any other way that we can give access to that developer or any other team only for HANA cockpit, I'll check on it. Server training server is also a bit tricky. I need to check on configurations these people have done. And also I'll be sharing you these user IDs today so that you can practice to you Nelby and Imanlu. I will be sharing it to you. So let's quickly go into the package privilege. What is a package privilege and why is a package privilege needed? So as we have seen, package privilege is nothing but it's a runtime privilege. So what is a runtime privilege? Anything that can be transported from one system to another system. So because what happens in the real-time scenario? You have three systems basically. That is your development system, quality system and production system. So basically what you are going to do, you'll have these objects created under the packages. What kind of objects will be created under the packages? Analytical views, calculation views and database tables or tables. Any objects that are created under packages can be imported or exported from one system to another system. So that's the reason why we call these objects as a runtime objects, basically. These are not static. This can be moved from one system to another system, and this can be utilized in another system only for selection. You shouldn't give access for these imported packages from one system to another system, because if at all there has to be any changes made, the changes has to come from development system only. You should not do the changes directly in the quality system or the production system, because the quality system is meant for what? It is meant for UAD. UAD is nothing but user acceptance testing. It is only meant for testing. It's a testing client. You shouldn't make any changes in the testing client. You're only allowed to test the changes that are done in development and imported to quality. And the same goes to production as well. In production, you use it for the real-time scenarios. You're not going to change any data that is imported with the help of packages. Only in some exceptional cases, only you'll get this access to change the data directly in quality or production. I'll show you the scenarios also, how that access can be given to the user for that particular package, and what he'll be able to do by giving that access. That is the importance basically of a package. So I've kept this about the package privilege, but here is a tab. So these are the privileges that you'll be able to see when creating the package here, or when assigning the access to a user, package access to a user package, privilege to a user. So what accesses can you provide? So these are the regular privileges that are there. So repo read. Repo read will give you the access to read the particular package. Repo edit native objects will give you the access to edit any packages that are assigned to you. Repo activate native objects will basically give you the access to, suppose if you are creating an attribute view. Whenever you create an attribute view under a package. So if you want that attribute view to be validated and activated, you need to have this privilege. Otherwise, if you create any data in an attribute view, until and unless you validate it and you activate it, that attribute view will not be valid. It will not be accessible by any other users. So we should always make sure that we are creating it, and all these views are created with the dependency on tables. So if you are creating any tables in the system, then and only then you can create any views. So views. While creating views, what you'll do? You'll import this table data into the views, and you'll use it accordingly to create information models. So that is how the structure is. So this maintain native packages will allow the user to create new packages. So let me reiterate everything. Repo read will give you the access to read packages. Edit native objects will give you the access to edit the package which is assigned to you. Activate native objects will be giving you the access to activate any models created under this package. Activate and validate any models created under this package. At the same time, repo maintain native packages will give you access to create new packages. And see the privileges for imported package. As I said, imported package should never be. You should never be able to change anything in the imported packages. But in some exceptional cases, let us say the developer needs this access. What you can do? Nothing. Your business will allow this. At such instances, you can assign this access. I'll show you how it will come. Let me go into the system. Hope I'm clear so far. So let me see what packages are there under the system. User ID. Let me expand this. No, not catalog, sorry. Packages are there in the content folder. we have a package created called the MP9G yesterday. And we have this view. What is that view attribute you created under this package? What we should have done is that we have to save and validate changes to this object. Even though it is empty, that's fine. I'm saving it and I'm executing save and activate. I'm validating it. At the same time, I'm activating it. Now it is activated. Now this attribute view is activated. We can refresh it. The MP9 div will have this attribute view within it. This is the team of. I have also assigned this TMP90 package to our user hello. No, it is not assigned. Let me assign it. Let us assign it to hello. I'll go under security. I'll select the user hello. Here what we have all the access that we can do. I'll remove this. I have assigned this for the testing purpose because I was testing the system itself. Because I was able to see a few things which I fixed in order to show you the HANA cockpit and all that. Let me remove this. This is not needed. I will remove it. Let me go to the package privilege. Let me assign this package to user hello. The package. That's fine. So what is our package name? 290. Let me add this. There is some internal issue, I guess, but let's try it. Let us do one thing. Let's not execute this. Internal purpose might be happening in the back end. Let's do this. Let us do one thing. I'll remove this system user ID and I'll log in. There is some issue. Let me see if I'm able to assign as user hello. Because I've given security admin privilege. I think so for hello. Let me try. I've given system privilege to him as part of this thing. So let me try if I'm able to assign this as a user admin. Let me try. Let me try to assign this package to my user ID. Hello, let's do one more thing. Let's do one more thing. So I want to show you all the pro levels and all that. Let me see if I'm able to access any other privileges that are assigned to the user already. There is a stack of the kernel as well as, I think, we're back to the ready. We might have some privileges. Let's see. Oh, let's see what privileges are assigned to this, my system ID. It's not able to access privileges. Let's see. So root package is the highest package. If you don't never assign root package. So what happens if you assign root package? So it will give access to all the packages that are there in the system. So whatever package is created in the system, it is like giving SAP all access. Basically, you're going to give entire packages access to the users. And also you can control the privileges again. What you wanted to give, but never give the root package. It's not suggestible give the package only that the user might need. Because they're not going to create hundreds of packages. They'll create very limited objects usually. The end users are the modulars. And users will not create any packages, sorry. And users will use front-end applications like BI tools in order to get the data, so they're not going to do anything. But the modulars are going to create these packages. Modulars or the developers, whatever you call them. At least I'll be able to show you this. So you have this repo read. So similar fashion, like how you assign access to schema, you can also assign whether you'll be able to grant this read access to any other user. So it should be always known. It is yes because I am the system user. I should have all the access, so it is enabled as yes. But when you give privileges to a package, to a user, you should always keep it as no. You should not be able to assign any package. Privileges for native packages. As I said, repo edit will allow you to create any data in the package which is assignable. Repo activate native objects will allow you to validate, and it will allow you to validate and activate whatever data you create. Information models you create under these packages. So the second one is that maintain native packages will basically allow you to create any new packages by yourself in your own content folder. You can create any package that you want, and you can create any information models under your package. So this is the regular process, but in some exceptional cases you will be also allowed to create packages directly in quality or production system. You'll be able to edit the packages, data in the packages, and you'll be able to create new packages also. So these three privileges will allow you to do that. And SAP itself will tell you. See, the imported object should normally only be changed by reimports. Reimports is nothing, but you have to change the data in development, and then you have to import it back to quality, and then from quality you have to import it to production. So that is what reimports means. In that fashion, you have to get the data into production, not by directly changing the data in the system. So what happens if you do that? So always make sure if someone is doing any changes, or they'll know this already. But what happens here? The development system will be inconsistent because it will not have the data in it anymore, because the quality system is updated or the production system data is directly updated. So let us say in future, if you are not making the same changes in quality and development system, so let us say if you are moving or you are importing this package once again from development to quality and to quality to production, you might lose the changes which you have already done in the production system. Because what happens in SAP is that when you import these packages to quality and production, if you have some changes in the production system directly without any re-import. So what happens? The data changes that you have done in production will be lost because of this import. So always be careful you are changing something in production system. You have to update the same thing in the quality and development system so that you don't miss these changes later on. So if some re-import happens, in the worst case scenario, if the re-import is happened by you only or by your colleague, you will lose the data in the production system once again, and you have to again come with the re-import, or you have to again create the data in the production system itself. So that is why it is always advisable to create the data in development and to move this data from development to quality and production. In only a few scenarios, there will be some exceptional scenarios for the modelers, not for us. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.